My new Toyota Tacoma sticker, what I ended up paying, and did I get a good deal? Well, good morning everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. And we're gonna go over the sticker, what actually is my new Toyota Tacoma. And I'm gonna tell you guys what it cost and how the Voodoo Blue, my 2020 Tacoma, figured into the whole deal. But first, we gotta do a little bit of a mod here, a little painting. These are the door handles, well they look like door handles, that were in the bed. You know, these little silver screen door looking like things. Gonna hit those with a little bit of Rust-Oleum truck bed coating, just to turn them black, really. I want to give them a little bit of texture and make them black. I'm not a big fan of chrome, as you may know. So this is one of the, probably the first things I do when I get a new truck, just to kind of make it blend in a little bit. So let's get the painting, and then we're going to get to the sticker and my deal. Okay, got everything painted. Now I've just got the fan blowing on it. You can probably hear it off to my left here. Anyway, just something to black these out, let them dry a little bit, then I'll put them back on. They'll blend right in. You won't even know they were there. So let's talk about my new Toyota Tacoma, what the cost was, and how the Voodoo Blue 2020 figured into the trade. Because I did, of course, trade that truck in. So, I've got the sticker here. I'm not gonna go through every little thing. Everybody pretty much knows what's on it. I'll just hit a couple of high points. First of all, it is the 3.5 liter V6. I wouldn't go with anything smaller than a V6 in the Tacoma, given the choice. Hint, hint, the new 4-cylinder turbo that I believe is coming in the next generation. It does have 16-inch wheels. They are black. The 8-inch touchscreen, 6 speakers, all that stuff. It is the SR5 trim level, and did come in magnetic gray metallic slash cement. Now they're calling it magnetic gray metallic slash cement. Not sure if they've always called it that or that's something different. I don't know. Probably always been the same. Base price. Let's talk about base price. $33,750. That, of course, includes a delivery, processing, and handling fee. Now, there were a few extra things added to this truck. And if you didn't know, I did grab it out of allocation. That's about the only way you can get a truck these days, unless you happen to pull into the lot and they happen to have stock. They didn't in my case. So I grabbed it out of allocation. It was one of the 6 or 8 trucks they had coming in. And it came in pretty quickly, actually about a week or 2 earlier, or maybe even more than they suspected. So, what extra did it have on it? Well, let's see. A cargo bed light, that added $179. A blackout package, which I really could care less about, but that includes a black exhaust tip, black badge overlays, and black tailgate inserts. That's $399. Premium carpet mat set, 4 pieces. Again, I don't really care much about that, but that's $245. Power tailgate lock, that I do like. I am glad it had that, $289. And then the Predator tube steps, which is the reason I let mine go on the other truck, because the new one came with them, $659. So that brings the grand total before taxes and fees and all that stuff to $35,521. Now, there was no negotiating on MSRP or price. They're not adding a premium or anything. My dealership isn't. At least not on the SR5 version. So $35,521. Now, before we talk about the Voodoo Blue truck, what would this truck have cost me if I just went in and picked it up? Well, there is tax and other fees on that, right? Tax here in South Texas is 8.25%. That would be sales tax. So that brings my, I have it written down up there, that brings my cost to $38,451. Now that's excluding anything else that might have been in there, document fees, that kind of stuff. Of course, there's always extra stuff. But we'll use that $38,451 mark. So now we come to the Voodoo Blue truck. That truck was a 2020 manual transmission. And here is key, manual transmission. It ended up being a keys for keys deal. In other words, I didn't pay anything, they didn't give me anything. It was just a swap it out, take your new truck and get the heck out of here deal. Now, I know right off, because I've seen some comments already about people stating, oh, you should be able to get 50 grand out of that truck. You know, words are cheap, words are easy. You can get 50 grand as long as you can find someone who's willing to pay you 50 grand or 45 grand or even 40 grand. Part of the reason I decided not to sell this thing outright, privately, is because there is a tax benefit. You see, when you trade a truck in, it reduces your taxable amount by the amount that you're trading in. So the tax amount was not figured on a $38,451 truck. It was figured on the difference between what my new truck gave me and the cost of the other truck. So tax was, in essence, about a wash. Now, the benefit in that, I suppose you could say that if I didn't have that truck to trade in, I would have had to have asked another, I forget what it was, $4,000, something like that, whatever 8.25% times 38,451 is. So we'd be talking about a 43, 44, somewhere in there, $1,000 price that I would have to get to turn around and buy this new truck and hand that right back to the dealer because of taxes. So about $44,000. Now, let's talk about the manual transmission, because there is a false belief out there that for some reason the manual transmission is worth more money because they're harder to get, because Toyota builds fewer of them. That is simply not true. You see, when you go to trade a truck in, the dealer is obviously going to price it based upon the market, their market. And the market for manual transmissions is a lot lower, so there are a lot fewer buyers. That means that the truck is actually worth a little bit less money because it's harder for them to sell a manual transmission. I mean, obviously, there are fewer manual transmission drivers, so there's going to be a smaller pool of people who are willing to buy that truck. So the thinking that for some reason, because it was manual, it was worth more money, at least in a dealer trade, is simply not true. Now, always, there is somebody out there, if you can find them, that might be willing to pay more money for that truck. Probably not a bad way to go if you're not buying a new one. Maybe if you bring in enough to offset that tax benefit, or if you just simply have the time to put in to wait to get that new truck. For me, I was not willing to go through that. In other words, you have to list it somewhere. Free these days, probably on Craigslist or something. Somebody suggested putting it on eBay. eBay charges a fee, which means I would have to ask even more for the truck to recoup the same amount of money. But anyway, you could list it somewhere like a Craigslist or whatever. And then you have to deal with the phone calls, the people that don't show up, the people that don't have the money, the people that want to try to get it for nothing. I mean, just on and on. You could utilize one of those online places, you know, like Carvana or Vroom or whatever they all are. But for me, it's a drive to get somewhere to meet them. You see, where I'm at in South Texas, they're not going to come to my area. How do I know? Because I've looked at like Carvana. I would have to drive a couple of hours just to meet somebody for them to load it up and take the truck, and then a couple of hours back. So I'm into a 4-hour commitment. Not a big deal if you're going to get a lot more money out of it, but for me, it didn't seem like it was going to be all that great. I had priced the truck out on Carvana a little while back, and believe it or not, the pricing that they had shown me was equivalent to the price that I got from the dealership. So I was pretty happy that I could get the same thing without having to screw around and do that. The last thing is all the mods. There are folks that said you should have left the mods on it, you could have sold it for 50 grand. Well, again, that's true if you can find somebody who's willing to buy it for 50 grand and you have the time to wait. I didn't want to wait. Maybe somebody would have, maybe they wouldn't have. Who knows? You can't read the future. Anyway, that's the scoop. My little mod today and the cost of my new Toyota Tacoma and how it worked out with the Voodoo Blue 2020. I'm happy with the deal, and in the end, that's all that matters. Leave a comment, let me know. I'm curious. Be realistic. Let me know what you think. Was it a fair deal or not? I'd be curious to know what you think. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Robmotive FST, all about my 2021 Toyota Tundra. And Robmotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.